What's up YouTube, Webberz05 here, coming at you today with Q&A number 44. So today's Q&A questions are brought to you by Darkpetition84, so thank you very much my friend for your questions. So without further ado, let's get on to it. So the first three questions appear to be continuing on his questions about dragons. So 1. Thoughts on Blue Eyes Shining Dragon? Overall, I think it's a very good card. It was very nice to see it in the movie when it came out. Pretty sure that was the promo I got with the movie when I bought it, so that was always pretty good. Don't remember what's happened to it though. I might try and search it out at some point, but I'm not sure if I still have it. Oh. But overall, pretty decent card. Seems a bit a lot to commit to of tributing a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon just to be able to summon it. Considering that I'm pretty sure only the original counts as Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and frankly the upgraded forms that have come out since are probably better. But who knows. 2. Thoughts on Amulet Dragon? Amulet Dragon again, very good cards. Definitely seems to have very good use mid to late game, banishing all the spells to power itself up. Could be definitely a very oppressive card for a deck like, say, mine or Sky Strikers, which naturally are heavily reliant on spells. Be pretty good against those. I feel like a potential slight hindrance, though, of getting rid of all the spells for Dark Magician, though. But I suppose it depends. That being said, I don't really think Dark Magician really recurs its spells too frequently, so probably not too much of a hindrance, but overall, pretty good card and naturally very situational, but overall, pretty good. 3. Thoughts on Dark Magician the Dragon Knight? I have mixed feelings about Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. On the one hand, it's very good in the archetype, really helps it. Very good. Gives it a nice bit of synergy of protecting the back row, which naturally is very important to Dark Magician, which is really good. On the other hand, I severely dislike the mass synergy between itself and Eternal Soul, considering that Dark Magician the Dragon Knight will prevent your back row from being targeted or destroyed, which keeps Eternal Soul safe, and because its name is treated as Dark Magician while on the field and grave, Eternal Soul just keeps it safe, which basically just means your board cannot be touched unless you've got a way to smack over the 3k and then respond to the Eternal Soul before you can try and bring it back. So, yeah. Don't really like the synergy there. But that's why I came up with the idea of just playing Trap Eater, where I can just eat it away and then your monster automatically dies. Trap Eater. These next questions are about matchups between Pendulum decks you played, which I'll have to continue next time. Okay, so 6 hypotheticals here. I will admit this kind of borders the line into the rules of my Q&As of me giving opinions about things that I can't control, but I will get through it for this week. Also, 4. Who would win between Pendulum Magician and Endymion? Now, for this circumstance, it's naturally very dependent on who starts, how effective, things like who starts, how strong you open, and so, naturally, if Pendulum Magician starts, it can go pretty strong going first, ending on things like Boral Savage and Vortex. But then also, Endymion has a very strong going second game, so it could quite easily break through it. But, lost my point. Yeah, I think probably I'd have to give the advantage towards Endymion because its going second game compared to Pendulum Magician is substantially stronger. Because going second, Endymion can very easily break a board and play through most of the negates that Pendulum Magician can put up. The other way around, if Endymion sets up a strong going one board, it can probably play. It's quite strategic in how it negates. Endymion's quite strategic in how it negates. It would know what bits you'd want to stop in Pendulum Magicians and when. So I'd probably have to give the advantage to Endymion on that one. 5. Who would win between Endymion and a Morphage? That's again pretty much a situation of who starts. if a Morphage knows the matchup, all it has to do. If a Morphage knows the matchup, all it has to do is scale Lechery and all it has to do is scale Lechery, putting a Morphage on the field, and basically Endymion can't play. If Endymion goes first, it's going to set up multiple. It will set up multiple spell negates to prevent Morphage from being able to pendulum summon and do what they want. So kind of one of those. Really, just depends who goes first. Which, from reading most of these matchups, is pretty much a lot of what most of them would be, based on who goes first, who goes second. 6. Who would win between Pendulum Magician and a Morphage? Again, kind of based on who. Again, kind of going based on who goes first. Though frankly, in a grind game situation, Pendulum Magician. That being said, in that specific matchup, depending on what scales a Morphage is put up, Pendulum Magician could quite easily play around it. If they opt on going Lechery, taking out spells, essentially all they have to do is hit Time Pendulum Graph or Purple Poison and get something, then you can just destroy the scale. Or Pendulum Magician might be a bit more, or Morphage might be a bit more clever, choosing to take out monster effects so that you can't do that. Because frankly, if they go for the monster effects, that would probably give them a huge advantage against Pendulum Magician, because even if they have the ability to use spells, they do rely on their monster effects on the Pendulum Summons in order to work off, so again, hard to say. Pretty much most of these are very hard to say because it's based on just essentially who goes first, who goes second, how well they open, which is partially why I kind of wanted not to give too many opinions on situations that I have no idea with or I can't control. And so which one was that? And Pendulum 7, who would win between Pendulum Magician and Draco Slayer? That could pretty much go either way. Draco Slayer can put up much more power, can put up very powerful monsters, but as can Pendulum Magician. So again, kind of based on who goes first or second. Though going second, I have to think. And it also really depends how each deck is built. They both work in different ways. They both play different styles. Pendulum Magician can also play lots of different extra monsters for different situations, so it's to really depend on how it's built. Draco Slayer typically puts up the same stuff in the extra deck pretty easily. So from a versatility perspective, I'd probably have to give the advantage towards Pendulum Magician, but from a power perspective, it would probably be towards Draco Slayer. So it's kind of hard to say. 8. Who would win between Odd Eyes and Draco Slayer? Again, first and second plays a big part in that. I'd probably have to give the advantage towards Odd Eyes, because Odd Eyes does have a very strong going. It's got a very strong going first game with options of like Vortex and Pendulum Graph Dragon for strong negates. Also Persona as well, which takes out extra monsters. And depending on the build, if they go Gravity to just stop it, to just shrink down the opponent's life points before when they're trying to do effects, pretty useful. Also, Gravity is quite oppressive going second as well, because summon Gravity, bounce your opponent's background, they can't respond to it, and then from there on they have to pay life points if they want to respond. So probably would have to give the advantage to Odd Eyes in that one. 9. Who would win between Odd Eyes and a Morphage? That's basically just whoever goes first and sets up would probably pretty easily win. However, with the Morphage, they primarily lock up the extra deck. With Odd Eyes, they have strong enough monsters in the main deck that they can probably just very easily smack over it. So a Morphage would probably just have to put up the Lechery spell negate so that you can't even Pendulum Summon from the hand. But if they can't do that, then Odd Eyes is just going to trample over them. So again, that's kind of based on who goes first and also how well they open. And the last question, 10. Who would win between Pendulum All-Stars and Pendulum Magician? That's not even really a fair matchup. I'd have to give that completely towards Pendulum Magician, just on the reason that it's exceptionally more consistent as opposed to the All-Star variant, which has pretty good options but not exactly very much consistency because it's all one-off cards. So not really a fair matchup to compare. And on that note, guys, that is all the questions I have today, so thank you very much, Dark Magician 84, for your questions. And if anyone else has any questions for me, I do these Q&As every Wednesday, UK time, morning, afternoon, depending on my schedule. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.